First, I am Lana P. Hermonisio from Peace Agriculture, first year college. So our topics for today is all about taking care of one's health, which is focuses about stress. So according to Humphrey, Yu, and Bowen, it describes stress as any factor that makes adaptations to an environment difficult for an individual to maintain a state of equilibrium between himself and the external environment. So when we talk about stress, it is a natural bodily response to situation to difficult or overwhelming. It is a feeling of emotions or physical tension, it comes from different events, thoughts that makes a person or an individual frustrated, angry, or nervous. So there are so many things that pull a strain to an individual, which is called a stress or the stressor. Stressor, these are the events and conditions that pull a strain to an individual or to a person. There are so many examples about the stressor, which is called, some examples just like if you are a student and then you have so many activities that you're going to pass on time, you have a final exam, etc. and etc. So there are two broad categories of stressor, which includes the physiological or physical stress and then the psychological stressor. These are the stressors that pull a strain to an individual or a person. Just like for example, very cold, not hot temperature, injury, pain, or chronic illness. Just like for example, in our present days now, we are being implemented in asynchronous classes just because we have the so-called hot index in this particular days. That's why our president implemented an asynchronous classes for the safety of the student. And then we also have psychological stressor. So when we talk about psychological stressor, are events, situations, individuals, commits, or anything we interpret as negative or threatening. Just like for example, in psychological stressor, if you are not able to review just because you have some patients in the hospital that you're going to assist with, so you are thinking the negative consequences or results that you are not able to attend your final exam. And also includes, in example, the divorce or the separations of your parents. Also job loss or traffic when it comes to you're going to go to school. So there's also, moreover, there is also called absolute stressor and then the relative stressor. So when we talk about absolute stressor, ang stressor that cause universal problems. So hindi lang isang nakaka-experience ng ganitong stress, but somehow all of people. Just like for example, we're talking about natural disaster. So just like earthquake, tsunami, and anything that cause a universal problems. So we also have relative stressor. So in this case, not individual or not all people experiencing this kind of stressor. In the words relative, ibig sabihin, hindi lahat. So just like for example, if you're assigned to discuss different topics in front of your classmates or so many people, and then you are not confident because this is your first time of talking of so many people, and then you're feeling stressed because hindi ka sanay. But somehow there's people that they are very confident when it comes to discussing in front of so many people. So ito yung sinasabi nating relative stressor. So let's focus naman to Fox. Fox explained when danger is perceived, the body emergency system automatically changes the body balance by producing the stress response called emergency response, super response, or the fight or flight response. So sometimes, yung body natin, if natitrigger siya, yung feeling na, excuse. So pag natitrigger yung katawan natin, nakaka-experience tayo ng stress. Just like for example, if you are a person na hinabol ng aso, so yung body natin is natitrigger, hindi mo alam kung anong gagawin mo. Hindi mo alam kung if you are going to fight or flight. So, dito na papasok yung coping. So when we talk about coping, it is a process that individual is trying to manage or stress or difficult situations in both external and internal. So how it talks about how individual handle their stress or difficult emotions. So dito na po papasok yung optimism and personal control mastery. So when we talk about optimism, it refers to the outcome expectancies that good things rather than bad things. So you are not just thinking about the negative results but also the positive, but more on positive results. Just like for example, if you have a midterm exam and then you're thinking if you study, you will going to pass the midterm exam or the final exam. But if you're not, and then you're just follow the flow and then you're not going to pass the exam. So if you have this so-called optimism and now you are thinking the positive result. So we also have personal control or mastery. So in this part, it refers to whether a person feels able to control or influence outcome. So, if you are stressed, you have the ability to control or manage yourself or your stress. It's like, for example, if you're not able to take the midterm exam or the final exam due that you are late and the professor doesn't allow you to take the final exam. And then, if you have the so-called personal mastery or personal control, hindi ka basta-basta susuko. And then, you're going to talk to your professor and try to convince your professor to give you another chance. So that's we call personal control mastery. So we also have this so-called
What is self-esteem? Is the belief and confidence in your own ability and value. Self-esteem includes feelings and competence, identity, a feelings of security and self-confidence. It is important to build a healthy self-esteem to be happy of people with a healthy esteem are able to accept their strength or strength and weakness weakness to express their needs, to accept compliment, and they are able to say no. What is social support? Is the prevention of resistance to comfort to others, typically to help them cope with stressor. Type of social support. Emotional helps one emotionally by serving as a buffer against hardship and stressor. Includes compensation, empathy, validation, concerns, sympathy, sympathy, and physical comfort. Esteem helps boost feelings of confidence and worth. Includes affirmation, compliments, motivation, encouragement, and confidence. Pride that faith in one's ability or character. Informational to sharing of expression, advice, information, or resource to help one cope with the stressor or overcome a challenge.
The social and cultural dimension of stress. Dr. Michael L. Tan, a Filipino medical anthropologist, with his article entitled Stress in the Filipino, which talk about the social and cultural dimension of stress experienced by the Filipino. Stress in the Filipinos by Dr. Michael L. Tan explore how Filipino culture and society the experience of stress. It examined the social and cultural factors that contribute to stress among Filipinos, likely including family dynamics, society expectation, and cultural coping mechanism. The article aims to provide a culturally sensitive understanding of stress within the Filipino context. Today around us magnifies that reality of Dr. Tan works. How Filipinos deal with stress in a trademark of orientation they had with the social words dictated by the stringent cultural compliance they were exposed to while growing up. In the end, Filipinos are still fond of how unique these manners of coping are, what makes them ultimately happy in the end in the one that matter much. The text reflect on the implication of Dr. Tan's research on stress among Filipinos. It suggests that current observation of how Filipinos handle stress are a direct result of their upbringing and the strong cultural norms they were raised with. The passage emphasizes that this culturally shaped approach to stress the unique and ultimate value by Filipinos because it contributes of their overall happiness and well-being. In essence, the text highlights the deep connection between Filipino cultural values and their methods of coping with stress.
Taking care of the self, the need for the self-care and compassion. Generally speaking, self-care is engaging in activities and behavior that have a positive effect on one's mental and physical health. Here are some reasons why self-care is necessary. Number one, it increases sense of love, allowing appreciation and acceptance of who a person is. It is important because in increasing our appreciation and acceptance of who we are. Number two, it promotes feelings of calm and relaxation, serving as ways to refocus and come back to daily life refreshed and ready to take on anything. As a person, we need to become and relaxing to focus on the things that we are ready to take on. Number three, it improves both physical and mental health by reducing the effect of prolonged stress on mind and body. Physical and mental health are the most important, knowing that stress can affect us and lead to depression, so we should take care of our physical and mental health. Ways to engage in self-care. Physical self. Eating well, exercising regularly, prioritizing sleep, and taking care of health. Physical self-care. This can help us to maintain our healthy living. Emotional self-care. Managing anxiety, anger, and sadness, and other emotions. Setting boundaries with people who are not positive or supportive. Emotional self-care. To managing of our anxiety and setting boundaries with the people that are not positive can give us peace. Spiritual self. Voluntary connecting with nature, meditation, and mindfulness. Spiritual self, this can help you can communicate and have a guide with this you can have a connection with nature and mindfulness. Ma'am, good morning classmates. My name is Sheldon I, and I'm here to talk about compassions. First things first, what is compassion? Compassion determines to suffer together. Among emotions, researchers, compassion defines as a feelings that arise when you're comfortable that with other sufferings and feeling motivated to relieve that compassion. That statement suggests that prioritize self-care and compassion are interconnected, with compassion literally means to suffer together, being a key element of caring for others. Other emotions researchers defines compassion as feeling other suffering and being motivated to alleviate. Next is there are various forms of compassion. That's why they are so important. First is familiarize compassion. It is the seed of compassion planted through the caregiver of spring band. It's arise when you're interested suggestions about people who brought without a single caregiver or brought up when parents who had a very distant attachment. Familiarize compassions. Compassions we have our family members who is suffering. And the compassions we witness and experience at homes inspired us to be more compassionate to others. Thank you.
My dear classmates. For today's my topic is all about the global compassions and sentient compassions. Global compassions was extended by the response to the 2004 and Indian Oceans and tsunami and the peoples around the world understand. Stands to our rangers or difference, race and skin colors. For my explanations, this refers to race concern are for all living things, suffering irrespective of nationality, language, and cultures and religions is complex and concept of encompassing of various and aspects from emotional empathy to concern and actions. For sentence compassions, sending compassions, it brings one's and extend feelings, compassions towards and approaches and towards living things and being with people as give a sentence and he also got global sentence is the highest moral virtue. Since sentence compassions for my explanations is represents the significant shift in ethical thinking and acknowledging as to expanse or empathy and actions to compassion and goodwill being all sentence of life. That's all.
So now, let's discuss na naman yung heroic compassion. So when we talk about heroic compassion, it is a form of compassion where individual acts to help another, often involving or sacrificing themselves. Just like for example, if you are saving a drowning person or nalulunod, so it considered as heroic compassion. So heroic compassion, it has two forms, which includes the immediate heroic compassion and the considered heroic compassion. So when we talk about immediate heroic compassion, it is acting without thought just to save other people. Just like for example, if you're going to save a person in a burning building, and then you're not thinking on what will be happen next. You don't have any plan on what will be the consequences. So it is called the immediate heroic compassion. You are trying to save a person without necessarily or without thought. But in considered heroic compassion, you are trying to save a person with thought. You are thinking first before you take an action. So it involves something done with thought. So if you're trying to save a drowning person, you're going to think first if you know how to swim, you know how to save that people, or you know the positive or the negative consequences of that. So that's all my topic. So other topics will discuss by my group mates. So thank you for watching.